Hello again, worldies. Yes, if you're a worldie, ignore that sign up there. It doesn't apply to you. If you're a gooner, well, perhaps you're in the right place, perhaps you're in the wrong place. Because if you want to hear about Arsenal, it's not strictly Arsenal in this particular place. In fact, it's going to be about world football. In particular, we're talking about the World Cup, which is ultra exciting. Yeah, everyone agrees with that. Well, to make it even more exciting, before I go on to my script, I have to show you this little application. It's by a company called, what are they called? I can't remember, but One Sport is the app. One Sport looks a little bit like that. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm looking at the video and I can't even tell if you can see it. Anyway, One Sport, what you do is you select a team. You have a lot to choose from. I'm trying to keep my hand steady. I'm not saying I've got, sort of delirious or something. But anyway, it's very difficult keeping your hand steady enough. I don't think it's just a steady issue going on there. Anyway, doesn't appear to be coming out very well. But if you select Brazil versus Chile on this particular app, which is called One Sport, you can actually watch the game and I don't know. You can communicate with not just me, but other people that are involved in this particular project. I'm not heavily involved in it at this stage, but anyway, it's a very interesting project, I feel, and whether it takes off or not is another story. But anyway, Brazil versus Chile is they call it a rave. I'm not really sure why, but they call it a rave, and that's what I'm hosting apparently. And it was very good of them to set it up. So that's the app you want to access. It's called One Sport. I may or may not put it up at the end of this video. The graphics. The graphics are pretty good. They know what they're doing. These guys. They're based in America. America obviously do know what they're doing, as they've proved in the World Cup, advancing to the latter stages. England couldn't do that. I've got many opinions about why. I wasn't planning on going into it, but now that you're here and listening, I think I might just give my 10 pence worth, or perhaps it's 15 or 58 pence worth of views on why America can advance and England can't. Well, clearly it's not a question of talent, because when you look at individual talent, England, I wouldn't say they've got it in abundance, but they've certainly got more than America. But what America have got over England is they've got teamwork and discipline. And discipline is very important. I mean, some people probably think that I'm not a disciplinarian, and perhaps in some ways I'm not, but I think you've got to get the basics right. If you get the basics right, you can do a lot in any field. It's not just football. If you get the basics right, you can achieve what some people think is unachievable. You can actually achieve that, and the USA have proved that. Most people thought they're not going to progress into the latter stages. I'm not so sure I was one of those people, because I've worked with Americans before. I've even managed an American team, player managed, and we started beating teams, because basically Americans do what they're told. If they're in a team, they trust the manager, and the manager tells them run to A, they will run to A. They won't ask why, they'll just do it. English players will say, why do I have to do that? And straight away you have a problem, because you haven't got time as a manager to discuss the ins and outs of why you should do such a thing. You could discuss it after the game when you've won it or even lost it, but you haven't got time to discuss the ins and outs. So as a manager, every time I manage a team, English players tended to do that. Not all of them. I mean, I've obviously managed teams with a lot of foreign players, and I've got better results with foreign players than I did with English players. Generally speaking, not always. The younger English players are better because they're much more in favour of doing first and asking second, and that works. To me, that works, because it has to be. I know it's not political. From a political point of view, it's not what you want to hear, but a sort of dictatorship tends to work better, or a sort of benign dictatorship, if you like, where there's a manager. He tells you what to do. He's always got his door open, so if you've got a problem, you can go and talk to him after. That works much better in football than having 11 sort of mini dictators who don't actually play together on the pitch, which is what England are to me. I don't think, judging by what I saw, I'm not so sure they really listened to Roy Hodgson as much as they'd have us believe, but that's another story. Wow, have I gone off topic or what? Anyway, I was going to tell you about 10 good things about the World Cup so far. In reverse order, number 10 is me. Well, I don't think I'm going to even argue the case that it's a good thing that I'm here talking to you about the World Cup, but here I am. I'm talking to you. I've been compared to a number of players in the World Cup, this particular one being David Luiz, which is very flattering to me. Carlos Puyol, very flattering to him. Carlos Valderrama, I'm not sure who that flatters, but certainly not me. And much, much worse than that, and I'm not even going to go there. Number 9, Fawlty Towers. You may ask yourself, why are Fawlty Towers in this top 10 of good things about the World Cup? I'll tell you why, because did you ever see the one where Manuel, the waiter, said, "He bite me"? Well, Luis Suarez kind of fits the bill there, looking a little bit like a rodent of some description. And it was the hamster that bit Manuel, just in case you wanted to know. Number 8, England have been compared to a certain breed of pony. I'm thinking Shetlands. I'm thinking, please, please, please don't decide Scotland and Shetlands to get away from England and become separate countries. That wouldn't be a good idea, because I'm not so sure that England, and now breed of pony in England, could beat the Shetland ponies in the Shetland Islands. And that brings me on to number 7. In fact, it doesn't at all. There's no link between number 8 and number 7. I just pretended. Number 7. Number 7 is Luis Suarez. He wears a number 7, allegedly, when he's not biting people. But anyway, back to the hamster cage now. So, well, he needs to be handled with care. That's all I can say on that. Number 6 is for Bobby Moore, the legendary Bobby Moore, who proved that you don't have to be fast to be a great defender. I wonder what he thought watching from heaven the England display. Not a lot is my take on it. Anyway, enough on that. Number 5, another number on the back, Vertonghen, scoring the goal to help Belgium finish the group stage on a high with a victory. But interestingly enough, Vertonghen not rated as highly as Vermaelen. An Arsenal reserve, I'll have you know. So, say no more. But, of course, Vermaelen said more, got himself injured. Number 4 is Forza Azzurri. Sounds like an advert for Fiat, or possibly Ferrari, but no. It's in support of the Italian national team. Forza Azzurri means something like for the blue-shirted ones. Anyway, they were the ones who put a nail in England's coffin and managed to put a nail in their own. Why can't we snuff out somebody like Pirlo? Is beyond me, really, because he's an aging player. Surely we could have man-for-man marked him, but more of that possibly later. Number 3. Number 3 is a very un-PC comment made by the ITV commentary team. In fact, one commentator said this. He said, Iranian players often put Christian names on their shirts. Need I say more on that one? I don't think so. Number 2 is Lee Dixon's old number, another pundit, TV pundit. He told Fabio Cannavaro, a World Cup winner with Italy, that he would explain all about zonal marking later on the beach. Well, obviously, Cannavaro, I think, knows a fair bit about defending, so I really found Lee Dixon's comments a little bit objectionable, so that's why it makes my number 2 good thing, or is it a bad thing? It kind of exemplifies how we've gone up the wrong path, how we're misled, and we seem to believe that our way is the best no matter how badly we perform in World Cups. Even if we don't get to the World Cups, we always know best. So it's like me saying, well, I didn't even get any GCSEs, but I'm your teacher. All right, you happy with that? Wouldn't work, would it? So that brings me to number 1. There is only one winner at this Brazilian World Cup 2014, but the winner could be one of 8, and these are my 8. I'm taking a risk, sitting on the fence, but here we go. Brazil, Neymar +10. They could crack under pressure. They could even choke. Number 2, Holland. How long before they start arguing with each other? Number 3, France. A World Cup winner from Europe in South America. Impossible, right? 4, Germany. Same goes for them, perhaps. Or not quite as much. 5, Argentina. Bit like If Argentina won the World Cup in Brazil, it would be very much like Arsenal winning the championship at White Hart Lane. Did that ever happen? Perhaps it did. Perhaps it didn't. Number 6, Belgium. They'll wear teams down, according to Gordon Strachan. Number 7, Colombia. Not too sure about them. Uruguay, toothless without the Nasher. And that brings me back to Argentina. They are my tip to win the World Cup. But it could be one of 8. And as I said, sitting on the fence right now. And hopefully this video will actually record, because this is my second attempt at it. Till the next time. Away!